Well, what if I were to tell you the Golden State Warriors, written off by many this season, are in the midst of what is looking damn near like a resurgent year. A year that has them looking actually like title contenders, and it has little to do with Steph Curry. In fact, Steph Curry hasn't even played half of this season, spraining his ankle in the third game of this young season, a Game 3 loss to the Clippers. That also happens to be the Warriors' only loss this entire season. Now, yes, they haven't exactly been playing world beaters to this stage of the year, but the Warriors are tied for the second best record in the league at 6-1, behind only the Cleveland Cavaliers, the surprise 8-0 Cavs, and the still undefeated Oklahoma City Thunder, who look as advertised to begin this season. But again, what if I were to tell you that Golden State is currently pacing them in net differential? And for those of you who do not know exactly what net differential is, it is a team's total per game point difference, taking all of the points scored and given up divided by the amount of games they have played. And there is no better determinant for a team's season-long outlook and playoff expectations than net differential. The team that led the league a year ago in this metric, the Boston Celtics, of course, easily went on to win the NBA title. And for some context on what the Warriors are doing currently this year, the Celtics' differential of plus 11.34 points per game a year ago not only easily led the field, nearly 4 points better than second place in that category, the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it was actually the fifth best net differential in NBA history. And you will know the others that are on this list above them, as all four not only won the titles those years, but comprise some of the greatest single-season teams in league history, including the 1971 Bucks, which featured a duo of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson, the Wilt, Jerry West, and Gail Goodrich Lakers that still holds the all-time NBA record for longest win streak of 33 games, the 72-win Chicago Bulls in 95-96, and the Kevin Durant Warriors in their first year together of 2016-2017. For context, those 72 Lakers still hold the single-season net differential record at 12.28 points per game. And fresh off of their historic regular season run of dominance last season, the Celtics this year are putting up an even more impressive number right now, sitting at plus 14. But they aren't alone in terms of teams posting gaudy differential totals, as the undefeated Cavs currently are at plus 13.2. While the preseason odds-on favorite to win the West, the team with the second shortest odds to win the title behind only Boston, the Oklahoma City Thunder, are leading the league at plus 17.4. But a surprise team, damn near pacing the Thunder, hell, almost with an identical differential at the moment, is none other than the Golden State Warriors, who are sitting at plus 17.3. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are three teams this season putting up a differential that would constitute the best ever, setting a new record that has stood since 1970. And of course, some of these things are anomalistic at this stage of the season, which is to say, some of these things will regress to the mean. But there is no denying that some of the trends we are seeing early on are sustainable or foreshadowing to larger trends. So while the Warriors will not continue pushing near a plus 20 rate of differential, it is absolutely feasible to suggest they are one of the league's handful of best teams. And there really is only one person to credit for all of it: Steve Kerr, of course. And sure, as the Warriors will near most likely 55 plus wins this year, the media cries will be intense to consider Steph Curry for an MVP award. That would be a preposterous third of his career, by the way. But Steph Curry isn't even currently leading the Warriors in scoring at the moment. Fresh off of his return game from the ankle sprain last night in Washington, Curry is now averaging just 20 points per game on only 43% shooting from the field and 42% shooting from the three-point line, while Buddy Hield is the team's leading scorer at 22 points per game on 51.5% shooting from the field and a blistering 50% from the three. This is while, mind you, he is shooting nearly 10 per game. Then there's Andrew Wiggins, who is actually also scoring more than Curry this year entering last night's game in Washington, but had an off night. He is still having a strong campaign though to this point of the young NBA season, putting up 16 points a night on 45% shooting from the field and 45% from three. And this is while Curry, Hield, and Wiggins are all only averaging around 26 minutes per game. In fact, every player on this entire roster is averaging under 30 minutes per game. But they are also the only NBA team, in recent memory to be honest, that is truly 12 players deep. In fact, they currently have an obscene 13 players averaging in double-digit minutes per game, and 7 of those players are averaging over 9 points per game. And it's gotta be Steve Kerr that gets all of the credit for this. He likely doesn't get enough. In general, that is, for the entire Golden State Warriors dynasty and the creation of Steph Curry. Yes, let me say that again, the creation of Steph Curry. Now, yes, Curry is an all-time great player, but he didn't look that great to start his career. For starters, Curry stayed in college longer and therefore was much older than many of the star players we have seen over the years, from Kevin Garnett to Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, and many, many more who entered the league as teenagers, less positioned to thrive early on. Steph Curry, by contrast, was 21 years old when he entered the league. Yet for Curry's first 5 seasons, that would be aged 21 through 25 years of age, Curry was a decent NBA player, posting 5-year averages of 20 points per game, 6.7 assists, 4.1 rebounds on 46.7% shooting from the field. During those 5 seasons, Curry made 1 All-Star appearance and was selected to 1 second-team All-NBA, while the Warriors made the playoffs just 2 times and won exactly 1 playoff series. And for whatever reason, it has become consensus that Steph Curry was injured all of the time during those first 5 years, with a myriad of debilitating ankle injuries. But that simply just isn't true. He played a minimum of 73 games in 4 of those 5 years and over 78 games in 3 of them. Curry was just an average to good NBA player for those 5 years. But following the 2013-2014 NBA season, when the Warriors were ousted in the first round of the playoffs, Mark Jackson was ousted from his job as head coach. In comes Steve Kerr, and lo and behold, all of a sudden, in the 2014-15 season, Curry jumps from fringe all-star level to league MVP, and the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship. In year 2 under Steve Kerr, Curry won the first ever unanimous league MVP, and Golden State set the all-time NBA record for regular season wins at 73. So from a career 20-point-per-game scorer who made 1 All-Star appearance and could barely win a single playoff series, to back-to-back league MVPs in year 6 and 7, while Golden State became perennial title contenders, winning 4 over the next 8 years that would follow. Now, as Curry sat for 3 of the Warriors' first 6 games of the season to start the year until returning last night against Washington, they seemingly didn't miss a beat, as the Warriors' 103 three-point shots made were the most in franchise history through the first 6 games of a season. The Warriors also currently rank top 5 in both three-pointers made and three-point percentage, while they are tied for the NBA lead with 31 assists per game. and it has been Buddy Hield leading the way, becoming the first player in franchise history to make 27 or more three-pointers in his first 6 games of a season. Sure, his 22 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game are a far cry from MVP Curry numbers, but again, Hield is doing this in just 25 minutes a night. Looking at the per 100 possession rate of Hield this season, he is posting 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game on 51.5% from the field, 50% from the three-point line, and 86% from the free throw line. Looking at Curry's best season ever, his unanimous MVP season in 2015-2016, his per 100 possession averages were a very similar looking 42.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists on 50, 45, and 91 splits. This is a career journeyman in Buddy Hield doing this in this system now. Hield, who is on his 5th team in 9 years, is a career 15-point per game scorer who has never made a single All-Star game. So the major overall point being, maybe Steve Kerr deserves a bit more credit for not only what the Warriors have done, but also what Curry has done. Maybe we should all keep that in mind at season's end if anyone, for whatever reason, is even remotely considering giving Steph Curry yet another MVP.